Hello, my name is Missy. Thank you for joining me today. I will be discussing depression and how to treat it. So, let's talk about what depression is. Depression can include extreme or prolonged sadness, thoughts of taking one's life with suicide, frustration all the time, a loss of interest in doing things that they used to love to do. And most people with depression withdraw from others, just wanting to be alone or sleep all the time. They're always tired. They can lose or gain weight, and they may also have feelings of worthlessness. Let's talk about the biological effects. The neurochemicals in the brain is dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin, and these work together to help create positive or the moods, alertness and energy and these different things. So the brain uses a number of chemicals as messengers to communicate with each other for parts of itself and the nervous system. The chemical messengers called neurotransmitters are released and received by the brain's nerve cells called neurons. Neurons are always communicating with each other by exchanging neurotransmitters. This communication system is vital for the brain's functions. So when there's a miscommunication, it doesn't function properly. A synapse connects the neurons to each other. So, receptors are tiny molecules that function like a lock on a door. Receptors have chemical channels with particular shapes, which perfectly match the shape of the neurotransmitter molecules that are sent across the synapses. When a matching neurotransmitter and receptor come into contact with each other, the neurotransmitter fits itself into the receptor molecule's channel. The receptor then becomes activated or opened. So, when there are no neurotransmitter molecules around to unlock the receptors remain in a closed or inactive state, causing imbalances. So, depression is linked to these imbalances in the brain concerning the neurotransmitters serotonin, norepinephrine, and dopamine. The evidence is hard to, and it's indirect with these points because it's difficult to actually measure the level of the neurotransmitter in a person's brain. So let's talk about treatment because treatment is important. Mostly antidepressant medications are used. There are different kinds of therapy that's used as well, but we're going to focus on antidepressant medications. They are known to help and act upon the particular neurotransmitters and their receptors. So, I've listed here the most common in treating depression, the different medications, the selective serotonin reuptake, the dopamine or noradrenergic reuptake inhibitors, and monoamine oxidase inhibitors. So the different medications are listed there, like Zoloft and Prozac. These medications are prescribed depending on the severity of the symptoms and the actual symptoms as well. Let's talk about management of medication. It's important that a person has the medication prescribed, and then it should be taken slowly in low doses as the doctor orders. Then it can be gradually increased as the depression reaches a decline. So, the time of the medication that it will be taken will depend on the depressive order, when it began, how long it went untreated, and how extreme it could be. After a patient has begun to see improvement, medication can slowly be decreased. If a medication isn't working, adjustments can be made to try a different medication or change the amount. The patient should be monitored very closely. This is important. Let's talk about the benefits and the risks. Antidepressants can save a person's life, especially those who have lost all hope. And the antidepressants are more effective than placebo with treating major depression. So it may take weeks. So this sometimes can cause people to not take their medication as prescribed or want to take more. There are several risks that are included, side effects that can make the disorder worse. There can be suicidal thoughts, there can be sexual dysfunction, also death. The mortality associated with depression increases depending on the severity of the depressive symptoms. There is statistics to show that it seems to be common that about 40 to 60% of people taking antidepressants see improvement. Well, thank you for joining me today, and I hope this was informational on depression.